For 6 years, the #1 plate has stayed right here in the hands of Caleb Russell, who's working harder than ever to defend his title this season. But the likes of Thad Duvall, Stu Baylor, and up-and-coming stars like Trevor Bollinger are hoping to rip the championship away. Will it be lucky number 7 for Russell in 2019? The chase for the AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Championship begins next.
Are you ready to go GNCC Racing?
Let's get it underway. The 2019 Moose Racing Wild Boar GNCC Deep Sands of Florida opening round of the AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Series. It is awesome to see Kawasaki back with the Babbitt's Online Monster Energy team, factory green motorcycles for the first time in years. Josh Strang leading that charge. Paul Whibley, former series champ, back as an injury replacement for Ricky Russell. We'll be back in a few weeks. And Ryan Sipes, Mr. Do Everything, Supercross, Motocross, Flat Track, and Off-Road. Gonna give it a shot today. There's Stu Baylor, always fast early in the season, very good in sand. He will be gunning for the #1 of Caleb Russell. 6 straight championships here. What about 2019?
Challenge has been there every year. It's 6 in a row, so this one's gonna be no different. Everybody's resets and resets are, comes into the new season with a different mindset, and everybody still thinks they got a chance to win. And I've only won this race the opener a couple of times in my career, and I know what it's like. I'm super good at throwing it away at the first round, in the first lap, just making a bunch of mistakes and falling down and putting yourself at a deficit right away. So just go out there and cruise around for a little bit, and then put the hammer down to halfway point, because that's when this place is going to be brutal today.
All those titles for Russell means all that frustration for Thad Duvall, his primary competitor.
The goal is to win, always, for sure. I feel like coming in years past, I would be happy with a podium, but I feel like I've been close to winning here before, and I feel like I'm ready more this year than I ever have been, and I feel better on the bike this year. So, no less than trying to go for a win, for sure. That's my job. I'm here to do, and I feel like I'm that guy that can maybe win. So, you never know where you're at the first race. I feel like South Carolina kind of sets you up a little better than this, because you kind of know where you need to work on for 2 weeks after South Carolina. So, but this being the first round, again, it kind of throws a curveball, and it kind of opens up the door for everybody. And, everybody's got a good confidence coming into this. So hopefully we can leave here tomorrow with good confidence and head to Georgia and have a good race and be healthy, for sure.
Yeah, what that is alluding to is here, the sand at this track, unique to most of the GNCC rounds, so no one really knows where they stand coming in, and even coming out of this race, no one will be sure what it means for the rest of the races that are run on usually harder dirt. There is Ricky Towery, our official starter, to get the 2019 season underway. I'm Jason Wygant here to give you the call. Look at those Kawasaki's jump out to it. That is actually Heath Harrison, motocross and supercross rider, who's going to try some cross country this year. Off to the good start. Backed by Imagine Moto, Maxon Inc. And another one of the Coways right behind him, Strang, and I think also Jordan Ashburn had a good jump. So those KX450s definitely fire quickly off the line. There's Josh Toth, a bad start for the rookie in the XC1 division. So the Alabama Slammer, Harrison leading, Ashburn and Strang. And there's Caleb Russell, Ryan Sipes, Stu Baylor, Duvall. There's Whibley on the 212, two-time series champ out of New Zealand. And Whibley just filling in, as we said, for Ricky Russell. We'll see how he does today. Back to the line for the 250 class, XC2. And you see the big #1, center of the screen, Ben Kelly on the FMF KTM leads them in, rider down here. Kelly now goes wide, and it's Mike Witowski on the beta, even a fist pump thrown in for good measure. He'll grab the whole shot. And what's cool about this 250 class, any 250 is good. 250 two-stroke or four-stroke, they race head-to-head. It's the two-stroke of Witowski trying to get away, the Indiana native. But unlike motocross, The start is only so important. In a 3-hour race like this, you can get a terrible start and make up for it. You can get a good start and go backwards when you have this much time. And in this sand, so much physical exertion. And it's pretty hot and humid today, so we're really going to see who is putting in the work during the off season. One more class to show you. It's the FMF XC3 division. That's 125 two-strokes only. Love to listen to this one. Well, Jesse Ainsley on the number 1, defending champ and a Florida native, got the lead. There's Jason Thomas, the veteran out of Wales. Cody Barnes on that white Beta trying to get inside of Thomas to take second away. Good battle with the 125s into the woods, but right now it is Ainsley who has support from the very potent Trail Jesters squad out front of Thomas. It's like Jason Raines, former pro contender in this class. There he is going by in his customary 100, racing against the kids, the 40-year-old. And a nice mix of talent in XC3. Good chance to learn the pro ranks, but a little easier to maintain and easier to ride machine. Caleb Russell has now taken over the lead as we go back to XC1. Jordan Ashburn second, so the Kawasaki's backed by Babbitts and Monster still looking good. And there's Stu Baylor on the Teely Energy Racing KTM in third. Baylor, a huge knee injury coming into this race, riding pretty well so far. Here's Trevor Bollinger's GNCC debut on the Rockstar Husqvarna, rode a factory Honda for Johnny Campbell Racing the last few years. Strang coming by, and then Thad Duvall. So Duvall's got to get on the gas here because Caleb Russell has taken over the lead. But how about that green wave up front? Welcome back to the races, Kawasaki. Looking good early.
GNCC on the NBC Sports Network is brought to you by Amsoil, the first in synthetics. Specialized Turbo e-bikes. It's you, only faster. And by Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Get ready.
Well, how about this? Travis Pastrana, yes, the Travis Pastrana, waited in line, paid his entry money, decided to just show up and race today.
2006, I raced here, so that was fun with David Knight and those guys. Honestly, the only reason I'm here after watching Supercross and just having a good time at the whole bike week is probably to watch Sipes this afternoon. I said, look, I'm not going to do the 3-hour course, but I'm going to cheer you on in the afternoon, so let's come out here and ride, right?
Can you imagine being one of the hundreds of amateur riders on the line and then suddenly seeing the 199 of Travis Pastrana next to you and battling for position? Travis rode pretty well early, and then he said he got tired and decided to just park on the side of the track for 45 minutes and rest and then come back around. And I saw his blistered hands after the race. It was something fierce. It looked like full chop meat. But that's the kind of guy Pastrana is. He just does things for fun, doesn't always have to be the most prepared. Caleb Russell leading. Jordan Ashburn, Stu Baylor, that's our XC1 Pro division. Yes, it's a 2-hour race for amateurs in the morning for Pastrana and those likes, but right now it's the best in the business racing for 3 hours. Here comes Bollinger, Strang, the Australian, and Duvall not really closing the gap. Last couple of years, Duvall and Russell have put on incredible battles for the win here. That still might materialize. Andrew DeLong comes by in the Phoenix Racing Honda, and then it's Josh Toth on the FMF KTM. Into the swamps we go, and the fans love this action. Cheering and shooting it on their phones. Russell leads, but this is far from full-bore aggression. Everyone's saving their energy for later. It will be a brutally whooped out and rough sand track. There's Baylor beginning to close a bit on Ashburn. And Russell getting into some of the fast stuff, but relatively smooth is this section of the track right now. But the thing about sand, see how bumpy it's beginning to get. Every single time a motorcycle gets on the brakes or gets on the gas, see those kickers, those bumps are going to get bigger and bigger, and multiply that times about 700 bikes that are circulating on the track right now. So a half hour from now, when Russell is back in this section of the track, Ashburn, Baylor, and the rest, these bumps will be bigger, the ruts will be deeper, will not only be like a whole new racetrack, but it will be much more physically taxing. And some of the riders even go so far as to publish their heart rate data after this race. A couple of years ago, Russell won it over Duval and averaged over 180 for 3 hours, which, if you go to your doctor, they would tell you that's not even physically possible to do that. But that is what the adrenaline can do in a race when everything is on the line. I don't think anyone wants to go to the wall to that level this year. So they're picking their spots and playing a bit of chess. I have no doubts that Russell could really put the hammer down and try to get away right now. I also think that Baylor or Ashburn could be quick enough to catch him, but they're just running their pace. Although you're starting to see the aggression from Baylor as he picks it up on Ashburn. And that's Duval, so he has made a couple of passes around his teammate Bollinger. And as rough as the tree roots are, those are actually palmetto roots, which is a whole nother level of rough compared to the tree roots you'll see in other GNCC events. So this is more of a physical test, this one. Our other races, if you watch with us all year on NBCSN, we'll have mud races or races with huge ups and downhills, which come down to technical skill and who can get to the top and who doesn't get stuck. Today, it's not about getting stuck or making the hill climb. Today, it's about endurance, who can hang on, who wants it the worst, and who's in the best shape. Right now, Russell, Ashburn, and Baylor flexing some muscle early at the Moose Racing Wild Boar. "110 youth riders lined up for our youth race this morning. Cannon Knepp the whole shot. Joseph Cunningham got around him to take the win.
Yeah, I got second place start. Me and Cannon Knepp, we battled the whole first lap and a little bit of the second. I got around him, and then I knew that second row was coming towards me, so I just pushed as hard as I could all day long, and then I guess here we ended up first overall. I couldn't be more stoked about it.
Yeah, well done for the Ohio native. Looks like his sister there is happy as well. Caleb Russell continues to lead our pro race XC1 class on his KTM 350. Is the challenge going to come? And if it does, who will it be from? Jordan Ashburn had a good start. Stu Baylor was there, but now it's Thad Duval. You could tell Duval was in a hurry. He had moved from about 7th to 4th, and now to 2nd. Stu Baylor on the Teely Energy Racing machine right there. I'm wondering about the knee injury for Baylor. Look at Duval. He has caught Caleb and is about to take the lead, and Baylor is there as well. So from 7th to 1st, bad start. Doesn't matter if you're bad Thad Duval, although Russell going to try to get him back here. No, I think Baylor got around Russell also. So these three who have spent a lifetime racing each other in this series, coming through those youth ranks, the amateur divisions, XC2 on 250s, and now on the big bikes, putting on a big duel in the 2019 season opener. Duval, the West Virginia native, South Carolina is home to Baylor, and Ohio home to Caleb Russell. And this is awesome to see them picking different lines through the mud holes. And Russell getting blocked by a lap rider, slowing his charge a bit. So Baylor, bad knee injury and all, making a sprint for it. Russell has retaken 2nd from Duval. And now you can see how sharp and deep these bumps are getting. Much rougher than what the track was earlier today, and the pace has picked up as well. And one other thing to keep in mind, the normal GNCC schedule, you race one weekend, you have the next weekend off, and then you race again. This is a rare back-to-back. We'll be straight up to round 2 in Georgia. And a lot of the riders, if you go too far today physically, as Baylor is in the pit, getting fuel and goggles and a drink, they stalled the motorcycle. And they're gonna try to bump start him. Where's Russell? Where's Duval? This could be a disaster. Worked so hard to get into the lead. I don't know why the bike won't fire with the electric start, and there they go. Now look at this. The Yamaha folks gonna help, even though he's one of their competitors. There's Caleb Russell. So all the work Baylor did to not only get the lead, but extend it. He loses in the pits. For some reason, the bike would not fire. Actually, the bike shouldn't have even stalled there, so maybe a problem. But look, just as quickly as Russell has caught him, Baylor has pulled back away. He is on fire right now. Does he have the fitness to run this pace to the end and hold on for the win? Here's your Rocky Mountain leaderboard. Stay with us.
GNCC on the NBC Sports Network is brought to you by AMSOIL, the first in synthetics. Specialized turbo e-bikes. It's you, only faster. And by Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Get ready.
Well, I'll tell you who is ready for our opener, Stu Baylor. You never know what you're going to get out of Stu. First of all, off the racetrack, one of the wildest personalities you'll ever meet. Love all the color that he brings to the races. And on the racetrack, the speed is undeniable. He can turn a lap time with the best in the business, maybe better than the best. But each week, you don't know if you're going to get that speed. Clearly, this is one of those weeks. Look, goggles are off. He's got a major knee injury coming into this race. The pace he ran midway through the event, probably enough to sap anyone. And despite all that, Stu Baylor is going to score a huge victory at our GNCC season opener. And this actually, there he goes into the fence. That's kind of Stu's style right there. Actually makes it 2 in a row. He won our season finale last year. However, Russell and Duval were injured and not in it. Now he does it straight up. He caught them, he passed them, he left them. He's on top, and a motivated, focused Stu Baylor. If that's a sign that we're going to see that in 2019, look out.
5 weeks ago, I walked into the doctor's office, and he told me I shouldn't be walking. I needed surgery, much less going and trying to line up the following weekend. So, blew out my ACL, MCL, PCL, patella ligament, meniscus, full totaled knee. So if you would have asked me the week before that, if I was coming out to win the GNCCs, that was the goal. Since then, it's been tough. Mentally, physically, had to take a few weeks off. Luckily, we had a really good baseline. We're leaps and bounds ahead of where we were last year. Last year, this time, we were pushing, had the fastest laps. Felt like that was the guy to beat, but just couldn't put together a race. And got to give it to my new wife, my whole family, the whole Teely team, everybody else out there. You guys are awesome. Lord Jesus Christ, couldn't do it without everybody. Thanks.
And Baylor telling me race strategy is what he is hoping will be his breakthrough this year. Let's catch up to third place finisher and not happy about it, Thad Duval.
Yeah, I don't know. Disappointing day for sure. Just a lot of work in 2 months, just ride around in third all day. So fell off the start. Just, I don't know, just struggled all day. And Stu was riding really good. I made a push at the beginning of the race and caught Caleb and just maybe blew myself up a little bit and just struggled from there on out. But, yeah, podium's podium. It's a short week to recover, so I felt like I tried to save a little bit at the end and kind of settle a little bit. But, yeah, we'll bounce back at Georgia and hopefully get that win.
Well, Caleb Russell led early, and that's usually bad news for everyone, but Baylor able to run him down. The champ going to have to settle for second, but on a brutal racetrack like this, I think he's actually surprisingly okay with that.
I'm pretty okay with it. Came away with a lot worse finishes from round one, and this place is brutal nonetheless. And Stu killed it. He must have struggled there in the first couple laps because I was just kind of cruising, and those guys caught up to me, and I was kind of riding to my plan and just riding my own race. And Stu got around us and took off, and I hung on there for a lap, and I was like, man, I can't hold on to this. Like, I'm gonna weed myself trying. So I was like, all the power to him, man. He rode really well, and I feel like this track really suited his riding style. You know, it was kind of tight, twisty, and he's super good when it gets, those tight, twisty, flowy trails like in an enduro. And even though it was like quad width, it was the way the bumps were just you get that flow and you could just sail through it. And I just couldn't latch on, and he rode really good. And I just rode her on into the finish and tried not to fall down, man. I was smoked. It's a brutal day. I knew it was going to be really tough, this heat. This wet sand really just kind of pulling you and dragging you everywhere, but I can't complain too much.
Rarely in defeat do you see that type of attitude from Caleb Russell. Here's your AMSOIL race recap. Welcome back to the races. Monster Energy Babbitts, Team Green Kawasaki, Heath Harrison, the whole shot, Jordan Ashburn, Josh Strang, 1-2-3 in formation, and a quick crash for Thad Duvall set him back. Caleb Russell up front early and was able to grab the lead, and maybe we thought going to check out, but then Duvall and Baylor got to him. We had a nice battle for the lead at mid-race. Duvall getting the lead from Russell, Baylor right there. Who is going to have the stuff down the stretch? Well, Baylor began to pull out a lead. That's a lot of work to do in these conditions, and then unfortunately for him, the pit stop, well, that was a disaster. Russell and Duvall chasing him into the pits, and then his bike stalls while leaving the fuel stop, leading his team to have to push start his bike. So they get a workout in today as well, and all the work that Baylor had done to extend the lead, it's gone. Because Caleb Russell, you'll see on the right side here in just a moment, but the number one is going to catch up and be right there with him. So Baylor simply pulled away again. A virtuoso style performance. They had several chances to stop him. They couldn't do it. Stu Baylor, if he is focused, even despite the knee injury this season, he could be a contender for that number one plate. Extra motivation for Stu on a preseason things to watch list on the internet. He was not listed in there, and he did say that actually gave him motivation halfway through to push through the pain and take this victory. It'll be up to Russell, Duvall, and the rest to come back at round 2 in Georgia. We'll have ATV coverage from the AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Series all season long as well on NBCSN. For everyone here at Racer TV, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for watching. Congratulations to Ben Kelly and Jesse Ainsley winning the XC2 and XC3 classes today. We'll re-rack it, reset, and see you in the woods of Georgia as this 2019 championship is underway.